Hi everyone and welcome to Scent Essence. Today I'm going to be talking about Lilac Love from Amouage, and this is a perfume that I asked for my birthday, which I've never done before. I've never asked for perfume because perfume is expensive and yeah. But the only reason I asked is because I sampled this and I fell in love. And I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. I'm glad I got to experience it. But, I'll never have a full bottle of it because Amouage is like a very high end luxury brand, and their full bottles go for somewhere between $300 and $400, which is just something I could never and would never be able to afford or want to spend that much money on. So, yeah, but then I saw it go on sale right before my birthday on Joma Shop for $165, which is still really pricey, and I don't know if I've ever spent that much on a full bottle. Like, it's hard for me to justify spending that much money on a perfume at this point in my life, which is why you often see travel sizes and like decants and stuff, because yeah, when it comes to like high-end perfumes, I don't really get a lot of full bottles, or if I do, they are secondhand, like on Mercari or something. So anyways, I saw it go on sale and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna I'm gonna ask for this from my family, and they were so sweet and they got it for me. I'm so grateful. And it just felt like the perfect birthday scent to ask for because it felt so special and unique, and it felt like me in a way. So, yeah, let me show you. This is the box. It's very luxe. I'm not super into packaging. Like, I don't really care much about the packaging because I don't usually keep the boxes. But for anyone who's interested, this is the packaging. It has this like embossed design on it, and it says the gift of kings, which is so it's so luxe. Like, this brand really does feel sort of like royalty, and I'll just show you the bottle. So it comes from Oman. This brand is from Oman. And I feel like you can really see the Middle Eastern, like the luxurious, royal Middle Eastern vibes in the bottle, in the shapes of the bottle, like the cap and everything. Like, this kind of looks like the tops of some of the buildings in the Middle East. And I love the bottle. It's really pretty. And I think the newer version of this comes in like an actual lighter lilac color, which I love even more. um, but this is the older version, and of course, on Joma Shop, you usually see the older versions of things because that's how they're, able to go on sale. So it's still a really beautiful color, and it has this design in the middle. So that is Lilac Love. And it is so strange. It's strangely beautiful to me, and I sprayed it on a little while ago. I wanted to let it dry down a little bit before talking about it in this video, so I have it on my wrist here. And I did spray a little bit on my clothes too. I don't think it's a beast, although I didn't spray that much. I'm glad if it's not a beast because it is a little bit strange, and it's something that I don't think I would want to be overwhelmed by. It's more so something that I just want to get little whiffs of, and I want to smell my wrist. It smells so beautiful on the skin. But I think because of the strangeness of it, yeah, I wouldn't really want it to like fill a room. This is very much a fragrance that is just, it's for me. It's just for me to smell my wrist and just be transported to like a magical fairyland. It feels very whimsical. So let me just start talking about the notes. So of course, lilac, but then I think there's also heliotrope and some other purple florals maybe. So it does have sort of a powdery quality, but it doesn't bother me, which was surprising because powdery florals, powdery scents in general, don't really work for me on my skin. And I think powdery is the third accord from the top, like on Fragrantica, which means, it's pretty high up there in terms of accords. But I think the reason why it works for me is because the powderiness is part of the experience of the cacao and the lilac, of course, but there's cacao in here in the heart notes, and it feels very much like cacao powder, very dry, so not like a dense chocolate, not a creamy chocolate, not a rich dark chocolate, not syrupy sweet, but just like dry cacao powder, which is so interesting to me and part of what makes it strange, right? And then the combo of that with the lilac, and maybe it is more of a powdery lilac, but it just sort of blends into the cacao in this way that it feels like powdery cacao, not powdery florals, powdery makeup, powdery lipstick, powdery vintage type of powder. So I think that's why it works for me. So I really enjoy this. Um, so what else is in here? I believe there's sandalwood and patchouli in the base, which I honestly don't really pick up on. I've had this on for about an hour, so it could continue to change, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward to me. Even though there's a good amount of notes listed, I really just experience from this fragrance lilac and cacao. And I guess I pick up on the heliotrope too, like adding even more powderiness. But yeah, again, it's not like a sharp, clean, like deodorant type of powder. It's just soft, as in powdered chocolate, and almost like powdered lilacs. Like if you could powder lilacs, if you could turn them into a powder and mix it with cacao powder. Think of baking chocolate powder, that you would use to like make a cake or something. And it has that texture, like that dry feel where like when you smell it or you like inhale a little bit of the powder, it almost like dries up your throat a little bit in this way. Not to say that this fragrance gives me that sensation, but it's that type of dryness and texture. But it's very soft, almost like if you were rubbing, you know, powder through your fingers, like the baking powder, the chocolate powder, or even like makeup powder. um, and you get that sort of soft, velvety feeling in your fingers. That's what the texture of this feels like to me. And it's really not sweet, which is interesting. It's not necessarily bitter either. I guess you could say it's almost like bittersweet. It's like meeting in the middle. But it's just not, it's so rounded to me. It's just soft and gentle. Because when you think about like a note of cacao, like that could be very, it could either be very dark and bitter or it could be really sweet. But to me, it's neither. It's just soft. And you know, lilacs can be done in a way where they feel sort of dewy and fresh. But this is definitely not that. Again, it's like if you turned dried lilac into a powder and mixed it in with the chocolate. I'm just repeating myself at this point. But yeah, this is something that I will probably save for, I don't know. I was gonna say special occasions, but like I'm thinking about like I have a wedding coming up, a wedding to attend, not my own wedding. And I don't think I would wear this to that, but okay, for example, I would wear this on like a whimsical occasion. So, speaking of lilacs, right? Spring is coming up somewhat soon. There's an arboretum near where I live, and in May, the lilacs bloom, and you just walk down the path and you just get that fragrant lilac experience just surrounding you. And it's very magical, right? And like I can imagine, of course, wearing this while I walk through the lilac path and maybe twirl around like a fairy, you know? Or I would wear this maybe on a day where I'm just home alone and I like put on a beautiful nightgown. I love nightgowns. I've always loved nightgowns since I was little. Put on like a beautiful nightgown and wear this perfume and just go about my day home alone in my nightgown, just smelling like this. I mean, that just sounds magical. And like it, maybe if it was a warm day, I would put out a blanket on the grass and, you know, in the yard and just lay on the blanket and listen to the birds and read a book or maybe journal, like do something special. And I can just picture wearing this scent on a day like that, where it's just me and nature, like just me and the birds. You know, I don't know. It feels like such a individual experience for some reason. And maybe I'll be surprised and I'll wear this one day and I don't know, I'll get some interesting reactions from people, but it feels like something I just want to wear for me, you know, when I'm by myself or when I'm just out in nature. That is the scent of the day. I feel very lucky to have this in my collection, and I will definitely treasure it and cherish it. And, you know, especially because it was a gift, just really, really special. So, thank you to my family for gifting this to me, and thank you all for being here. Can just admire her in all her glory one more time. And yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you next time, everybody. Take care. Bye.